Everybody, please wait for Mike.
Pass that way.
Vince, I felt, man, to get that 25,000 point, especially against the team at the start.
It was a weight lifted off my shoulder. I mean, it's been talked about. Coming into the season, first of all, I didn't realize it. It was talked about a little bit. And, I'm here just to help this team more so than anything. And I've always said, you stick around long enough, you're going to start accomplishing some things, just from being around. And at the same time, I mean, this is one of those accomplishments that 21 other guys have only done. So, it's definitely a special moment. I just, never talked about it, never wanted to press about it, just let it happen when it happens. And it's one of those things when he gets here, it's like, just knock it down and get it over with. And it was one of those, for me, it's one of those situations. I made my first shot, career shot, fadeaway right there in the corner. So when I got the ball in that situation again, I wanted to make it right there in the corner, and I was pressing a little bit. So, but at the same time, I was just, what better way to accomplish the goal outside of making that shot with the dunk. So there it is.
Was there a point where your teammates said, "Hey, the ball's coming your way"?
Those last 2.5 minutes, I haven't heard that in a while. So it's like, oh man, it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable. Just like I said, I'm just like I said, I want to play my role and do my thing. So it's cool to hear it again and to go out there. I wanted to get it done as few shots as possible, but it is what it is.
Who was it when they said?
It was Trey, actually. Trey, a couple of guys. Tori mentioned a lot of guys. It's like, hey, get over it, and then Kevin, who deserves a shout out because the first thing he said to me wasn't congratulations. Like, I go down in history as the past. So I told him I should give him a shout out. So Kevin, you deserve all the credit for that, making it happen. But he was like, I'm gonna scream for you. And I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. At that point. So a lot of the guys were in support of it, just trying to make it happen. I think the cool thing about it is most of the guys on either side might not have been old enough to be a part of the first points, but to kind of see that, and I felt that it was the right thing to do to thank every one of them, other Raptors, just because that's where it started for me. But they're part of history, and I was very thankful for it, and kind of allowing me to kind of make it happen, particularly the last two.
Vince, it looked like they cut down the net for you.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, well, it looked like they were cutting down the net, so hopefully they were doing it for you, of course. But what do you plan on doing with that and the game ball as well? Do you plan on framing it?
Something to see for my family, and to constantly just remember, this is a great moment for me. Being around this long, you just want to play and accomplish as many things as you can, but 25K is 25K. So everything I have, all the guys try to take everything I own in my locker room. So all of my backup pair of shoes are gone now. So they're all sitting in a safe place where we all can remember it.
You took a moment after the dunk and squeezed the ball and looked up. I mean, what were you thinking?
Glad it was over. Honestly, I mean, there again, we talked about it. It's like, I don't think about it. I don't talk about it. I was aware of it. I'm thankful for it. But it was just more so just glad we can kind of move on. And I know it sounds weird when you talk about what just happened, but it was kind of mixed emotions as far as like, yes, this is unbelievable. I still can't believe it. To be a part of an elite group for thousands and thousands of players who's played in this NBA. But I'm thankful for every 247, if I'm not mistaken, teammates that I've had. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that stat, though. I'm very thankful for each and every one of them. They've all played an important part into this, and that's the first thing I thought about. I was like, wow, this happened, and how thankful I am for you know, all of the guys that I've actually played with and had a part in 25,000.
No cranking up celebrations.
I forgot. I totally forgot. One of the gentlemen just told me, he's like, you forgot to do all that. And I was like, yep, sure did.
Vince, in the last 2 minutes, you guys brought Trae Young back in. They brought Kyle Lowry back in. Kyle was saying he kind of figured out once they showed on the screen that you were 6 away. How intense was that last 2 minutes? It looked like they were guarding you pretty tight.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but it's a basketball game, and, you know, that's what it is. There again, I mean, the opportunity is there. If I can make them, I can make them. But, I mean, it's still a basketball game to be played, and I don't know if I want everybody just to lay down, but, you know, I understood it. And Kyle's one of my buddies, so he was one of the first guys from their team to come and congratulate me, and it meant a lot. You know, we played golf together, and we chat up a lot, and it was just awesome.
Vince, just asked you a question earlier this year about being able to dictate your career and continue longevity. Being able to play this long and to get to 25,000 points, what does that say about you keeping yourself healthy and things of that nature?
First and foremost, I still love it. I still love playing. And I was willing to do whatever it took to stick around. You know, all of the things I have to do to play a game, to be prepared, to get prepared for the season, I'm willing to do. And you know, I'm asked constantly, what's the secret? What are you doing? Well, the secret is I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And I try my best not to skip steps. You know, if you see the laundry list of things that I have to do to prepare, at first maybe you're like, okay, I'll do it. But at some point you want to skip steps and like, okay, you know, I can skip this step, and you start to skip and skip and skip to where you're probably doing half, if not less than half of the things to be effective in this league. And you know, that's not, you know, I'm very appreciative of my opportunities and what the NBA and this, you know, the bonds I've built has done for me, and doors that's been opened for me over 20 plus years. So I would never disrespect the game as far as just say, hey, I can play because of a name. No, I prepare, and I come to work to earn a job and earn minutes like everybody else. And at the same time, I know why I'm here and to help these young guys. And, you know, the bigger picture of all of this is that for the talent, the young talent that we have, they get the opportunity to see something like this and put that in their memory bank for a goal to reach for themselves, and understood the feeling it did for what feeling they had for themselves, for the arena, for all who's watching, and for me, and want to be in that position. You know, I got the opportunity to see Dirk and LeBron, you know, all those guys who are still active accomplish their 30,000, and you know, it was just great to see. It's like, you know, hopefully I could accomplish that 25, and the feeling. I didn't really know what it would do for everyone else or for me, but I knew it was a special moment. But so for all those guys, even on both sides, and young kids are watching. I mean, that's what it's all about. Is getting the opportunity to witness something like that, and it's like in your memory bank. So now it's like I want that. Now what do I have to do to get there? And now maybe guys lock in a little more and say, okay, now let me tighten up. Let me tighten up and better myself, and better, you know, as a person and as a player, because all of that stuff factors into being around that long. Because you can be a super talented player, but if you're not easy to work with, if you're not coachable, sometimes you don't get the opportunity either.
Vince, I know you kind of touched on it earlier, but a lot of Raptor fans on social media are already they like that moment. They're pretty excited about it. I mean, just how fitting is it that it was against the Raptors?
Absolutely. I mean, there again, like I said, my first points was in the Raptor uniform. It was against Boston, which, of course, I was okay with if it didn't work out tonight. Hopefully tomorrow it'll be done with, or next game it'll be done with. But, I mean, it's where it started. I'm very thankful for every team that I've played for, every opportunity I've had, whether it's good or bad or whatever. But it's nothing like your first. And when you're accomplishing something of this magnitude, if I'm not in that uniform still with the Raptors, I mean, of course, to share it with that organization in this game meant a lot to me. I don't know what it meant to some of the other people who still may hold a grudge for whatever reason. I'm truly thankful that it was against them, and all those fans got to witness it. It's just awesome. I think it makes some of the fans when I was a rookie who witnessed my first point, I think it makes them feel old now, probably.
Vince, I noticed you had your shoulder wrapped up tonight. Did that have an impact on your playing ability?
Oh no, nah, not at all. It's at this point for me, it's just all in the mind. You know, if you see me in the morning sometime, or see me walking in, you're probably like, bro, you're not gonna be able to play. But, like, it's just the adrenaline rush of being able to play, and I'm smart with it. I know I'm older and everything, but you know, I just do what I have to do to prepare for the game, and you know, I've had it on a couple of games now, so it's just something that's a part of me. You know, you deal with the bumps and bruises when you hit 40s. Playing professional sports, everything hurts all the time, so you're just used to it.
Gotcha.
Vince, over here to you, man. So, all of the guys in the locker room talk about the wisdom that you give to them as far as, you know, your experience in the game.
Mm-hmm.
This moment being reflective for you as you go back and look at our first season with Toronto. Who were some of the guys that kind of took you under their wing when you were?
Well, Charles Oakley, the second day, put his arm around me and said, I'm going to make you a player in this league. I'm going to teach you the ropes and learn how to be a player. So first of all, you can't tell him no. Start right there. And then you go to Kevin Willis, Doug Christie, D. Brown, and you know, Antonio Davis. So I think of, you know, when you have somebody like Charles Oakley who played with Jordan, Kevin Willis who played with Dominique, Doug Christie who played with Magic Johnson, D. Brown who played with Larry Bird, and Antonio Davis who played with Reggie Miller. Why wouldn't I listen? You know what I'm saying? So it prepared me, and I was prepared as a young guy. And I'm one of those guys, if I don't know, I'm going to ask questions. I'm not afraid to ask questions, and I did that. And I was prepared each and every night, like I'd been playing for years against some of these guys. And that's the wisdom I try to share with these guys. And I know I'm annoying, because they were annoying to me all the time. And I used to tell them on occasions, like, you know, but I knew what the gems that they would give me would keep me in the league and allow me to do the things that I was able to do and continue to get better. So I just try to drop gems for all of the young guys in tough moments. We're going through a tough time here as far as winning and just completing games and, you know, just seeing it through. And, you know, I love to win. I love to be in these guys' ears, in their ear, and love to encourage them. So I'm going to continue to do that. That's why I'm here, is to, you know, to encourage through the tough times. I mean, it's easy when you're winning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, I got it done. But when you're losing, that's when we learn. And I think we're learning outside of, you know, what some people may think, what some people may write. We have to go through the growing pains. We have to go through that for us to accomplish what we want to accomplish down the line. And one thing I expect from them, and I tell them, is just to play hard, play through it, and you know, it's a long season. We're only, 18 games in? It's still a long season. So anything can happen in the second part of the season. But I've always said, and I said it from day one, it's all about forward movement for us, and that's what we're working towards.
Congratulations, first of all, Vince. Did you see the tribute on the big screen? If so,
I didn't. I saw it afterwards. They showed me in the back. I thought it was one of the best ones. I mean, it was pretty cool from all of my friends. You know, Larry and Dirk, Coach Williams, who I talk to every now and then, even the commissioner, TNT crew, who I know very well. It's just awesome. Like I said, it's just, you know, you see a tribute, you see all these people, and they're talking to you, and it's talking about 25K. Like I said, in an elite group, still blows my mind a little bit. You know, maybe tomorrow I'm like, yeah, I'm here. But right now it's just like, wow, still can't believe it.
Vince, how was it to have the arena chanting your name and saying "Go Vince, toward that end there?
I mean, it's always an awesome feeling when you have the support of your fans, and even, you know, the Raptor fans, and like I said, it's like old times, and I'm very appreciative of it. Like, I've been around a long time, I've done a lot, and like some of these young kids probably, you know, have no idea the things that I've done and accomplished in my earlier years, but at the same time, I think they appreciate just my love for the game. And, you know, you hear it. A lot of things are going on. You hear it, but you're worried about, like I said, I had a lot going on, so I was just like, let's just get this over with. Really, I mean, I really did, but I'm thankful. Like, I'll probably replay all this on my mind tonight, on the next couple of days, just to kind of soak it all in. And there's probably a lot of things that I missed that I didn't realize. So, catch me in a couple of days, I can probably break it all down for you then.
Vince, on that list of 22, there's 8 guys who you've played against. That's the Kobe Bryant's, the LeBrons, of those, the Dirks you played with. I mean, of those guys, like, who do you kind of remember battling against the most, or a couple guys maybe you just...
All of them. I've had unreal battles against, obviously, Kobe. In our day, we were just back and forth all the time. I mean, everyone. I mean, we've all shared special battles. You know, being teammates with Dirk and accomplishing, you know, some wonderful things in Dallas and big wins, playoff wins maybe that we weren't supposed to win a couple of those years. I remember them all. You know, so I'm just, when you talk about Hall of Famers, and you know, Kobe will be a Hall of Famer, and a couple of those guys that we named will be Hall of Famers in the future. I'm glad to be a part of that group. As far as scoring is concerned, we'll see about the other stuff. I don't know. I stay out of that.
Vince, when you talk to the rest of your teammates in that locker room, so many of them are so quick to have that first memory of when they're a kid and watching you and doing all this stuff, and I'm wondering, who's sort of your first memory of when you're a kid and you're picking up the basketball and you're watching and you're like, wow, I'm going to be like that someday?
Dr. J. Probably first and foremost. Obviously, MJ. Neat, because you know, I watched and studied the dunk contest as a young kid. I had them on VHS, and I would watch them and study them as I'm getting prepared for a quiz or something. Like, that's just something I enjoyed, and the knowledge of it. Dr. J was probably one of my heroes and ultimate favorite growing up, first and foremost, and obviously who didn't enjoy and love Michael Jordan. You know, got the opportunity when I won the dunk contest and held up that trophy and walked in the back that night. Dr. J was the first person there to actually shake my hand. You know, doesn't get any better than that. And talking with Dominique over the years, talking with MJ over the years, like, you know, these are my heroes and people that, you know, I still pick their brain at this point of my career for knowledge to get better. Kevin Willis is another guy who I used to make fun of. I can admit that when he was in this position, and every time I see him, he laughs at me and like, look who's in this position now. And you know, I'm always trying to get better. You know, just like, what more can you do and accomplish? Like, you know, always. You know, when it's time to walk away, I still want to play the best basketball I possibly can. I still want to be the best mentor, leader that I possibly can. So, you know, I'm learning. Every time I talk to, in my eyes, a legend. A former player to me is a legend in this game, you know, because they've accomplished what they accomplished. I don't care if it's 25K or 13K. They've accomplished a lot in this league, and I'm more than excited when I get that opportunity. Maybe like a young guy kind of looks at me, like you said, when they were young, they had the posters and all that stuff. Oh, I had the posters of some of these guys too, and every time I get the chance to talk with them, I do so.
Vince, you have a lot of coaches through the years. Who's your most, who influenced you the most? And it can be the college coach also.
It's tough. You know, I'm definitely going to start with my high school coach, Brinkerhoff, who started it off, and his knowledge and love for coaching, developing players, his love for reading up on the legendary coaches, prepared me for the next phase, which was college. Taught me how to work hard, how to appreciate the game, value the game, set goals. You know, it's easy to say you want to be a professional player. It's easy to say you want to be one of the best in, you know, to ever play the game. It's easy to say you want to accomplish 25K, but you have to learn how to do it, and you have to be willing to do it and put the work in. You know, I think we're in a world sometimes where the younger generation wants everything given to them, and you know, it wasn't that case. And I think when you put the work in and you earn it, it's more satisfying, more gratifying. It is for me. You know, I can go home tonight and sleep well because of all the work that I put in to be here. You know, I'm here. And then the great Dean Smith, it speaks for itself. His preparation, I just remember the lockout year. Yeah, it was a lockout year. We're talking a long time ago. I got the opportunity. I went back to school once the lockout hit because we're obviously not allowed in arenas. And working with him, and one of the first things he did was like, let's get in the gym. It was just weird. We're working on, you know, when you're in college, you work on what you're working on as far as what he wants us within the confines of our offense. But sitting there working out with him, preparing for the NBA, and hearing the things that he was preparing, you have to learn how to do this, that, forth. And you look at Coach Smith like, you know, we're working on individual moves here, like NBA moves, and this is great. And the knowledge that he prepared me for in that short stint of a semester was paramount for me, because I felt prepared, and I was in a lockout year where I could not talk to not one member of the organization. And once you get in the NBA, for me, I have appreciation for every coach that I played for, because I as much as they wanted to coach me, I was listening. I wanted to be coached. I wanted to be yelled at if I was doing wrong. Don't baby me. Don't cater to me. Like, get me right. You know. And I think going through that, holding me accountable when I said I wanted to be a leader. All right, well, this is how you go about it. That stuff has helped me to this day to be around. So I'm thankful for every coach, because you know, I allowed them and I wanted them to coach me. You know, I played for a guy, Stan Van Gundy, who gets in your grill. Coach Carlisle gets in your grill. It didn't matter. I enjoyed it. You know, and once you figure out a coach, I think that's one of the things young guys don't realize now. Take the time, figure out your coach, what he is, what's he about. Once you figure that out, it's understood. You know he's going to yell. All right, cool, you know, whatever. But you learn to teach me. You know, and that's what I kind of try to be for these young guys now. Sometimes we get frustrated as players when we're going through losing streaks like this, and we're on edge. And I just try to be that calming voice, like, hey, it's a reason why he's saying it, to help you. Constructive criticism is good for you, you know, and I live for it.
All right. Thank you, Vince.